What is up, my friends? So, how many times do we get a movie that comes out, and then the next year another movie with the same name, the same premise comes out, but that movie actually does better? Let's talk about Truth or Dare. So, Truth or Dare is a 2017 movie, and you might be thinking, wait, didn't that come out in 2018? Well, yeah, there's actually two Truth or Dares. The first one was actually on 2017, it came out on Sci Fi. The later one was 2018, released in theatrical through Blumhouse, I believe. But both pretty much have the same premise. A group of friends go to some weird place, they play Truth or Dare. Truth or Dare becomes real, and they have to do all the dares, even how crazy they might be. I checked out Truth or Dare 2018 first before I checked out Truth or Dare 2017 because I didn't even know 2017 existed. I got the chance to check it out, and I can honestly say 2017 was a far better film. Let's talk about that film though, because the ending is actually pretty ambiguous, and if you don't have the subtitles on, you might not know what's going on. I'll tell you about that in a bit. So this movie basically follows a group of friends that go to have a sort of like Halloween pre-celebration, and they go to this sort of haunted house. Now, before the movie even starts, they let us know this house is haunted by going 20 years into, well, actually 30 years back, and we see that some friends were playing Truth or Dare, and we see all of them die except for one, and the last dare she has to do is pour acid on herself. So she puts like a coat of like I think it was like some flour or something, and then pours it on her. The movie starts after that, and then we see these friends go in there. They start playing Truth or Dare. They take some shots, and at first it's like their own dares, their own truths. But then it turns a little dark when one of the truths is about another friend sleeping with another friend's boyfriend, and then people are getting pissed off, thinking who wrote that. But then it turns out that one of the dares that comes up next is put your hand on a hot stove. That's when people start losing their shit, and they're like, okay, who seriously is doing this sick joke? Now, they ultimately find out that they have to do these dares and these truths because the guy who got the hot stove dare didn't do it in time. So then the stove just came to him, and his hand just went to the stove, and it was like, holy fuck, that looked fucking disgusting. I will say that the special effects in this movie are pretty good, and they pretty much were like really, really like, ugh, like they just left you sick to your stomach. But anyways, as they progress, they do all these truths and these dares. Ultimately, some of the friends do end up dying, whether it's from not completing the dare or the dare itself being so dangerous. And by the end of the film, we have two friends left. Now, they started off with 8, so 2 friends after 8, this is not a great game at all. So, for the last dare, the friend has to kill the other friend. Now, these are the same 2 friends that one of them cheated on, that one of them slept with the other's boyfriend. So there's a little bit of animosity going on through the whole film. But at this point, they're just like, I want both of us to live. So the one who took the dare card that said, kill your friend, she's like, I'm not going to let this happen. And the other friend's like, you have to, or we're both going to die, ultimately. And what happens next is the friend decides, you know what if we just both die? So she goes and crashes into a tree, and then nothing. The credits roll, and then we hear a gasp. And now many people would be wondering, whose gasp was that? Well, I did too. But then if you actually have the captions on, it says both of their names. So ultimately, both of them survived the Dare and Truth game. Or Truth or Dare. I don't know even why I said that. But how did they do that? How did that happen? Well, I guess it goes back to when they went to talk to the original person who played Truth or Dare back 30 years ago that we saw at the beginning of the film. She said, as long as you share dares, you should be fine. So I think that ultimately, because they both ended up going to kill each other, then the dare canceled out. That's just my thoughts. That's just my opinion on it. I think that that's what ultimately did happen, and that's what she ultimately thought about. It's like, what if we just both kill each other? Would that just cancel the dare and we still live? And I think that they both did live because we see both of them gasping at the end if you read the captions. But ultimately, this movie I thought was pretty fun and pretty entertaining. And honestly, I think it was better than the 2018, as I said. So definitely give this movie a check out on Netflix. It's on Netflix, so you can just stream it and check it out. A good movie for Halloween season. But anyways, as always, that's going to do it for me. If you haven't already checked out my video on Hold the Dark, check that out. Another Netflix movie that you should definitely check out. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. We got a lot of horror films coming up. We got a lot of stuff to talk about movies, music, and all that good stuff. So make sure you subscribe. 6,000 subscribers. Let's get to it. And as always, I'll see y'all next time. Stay positive, my friends.